Follow the heartbreaking news out of Hartford as investigators are sharing more information about what led up to the death of Hartford police officer Bobby Garton. Channel 3 Eyewitness News reporter Cassidy Williams joins us now live outside of police headquarters in Hartford with the very latest. Good morning, Cassidy.
Good morning, Roger. Ever since we watched the police set up this memorial here, it has been growing with people stopping by and wanting to pay their respects to Officer Bobby Garton. And as the community and the department mourns, the investigation into how this happened is now in the hands of Connecticut State Police. The suspect, 18-year-old Richard Barrington, went through court yesterday. Court records say after he was pulled over for turning left on red, Barrington took off, blowing through 2 red lights before hitting the police cruiser. Police say the cruiser was responding to an unrelated call at the time. Officer Garton was in the passenger seat and died. The driver of the cruiser, Officer Brian Kearney, is at last check with police in the hospital with serious injuries. Right now, the suspect is only charged with a number of motor vehicle violations, things like driving an unregistered car. But the judge set his bail at $1 million because prosecutors say they are looking into more serious charges. Court records say Barrington was an 11th grade student and that he only had his learner's permit. Coming up in the next half hour, we're going to talk more about this investigation and the video state police are looking at. Live in Hartford, Cassidy Williams, Channel 3 Eyewitness News.